Live from the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is First Coast News at 11.
A house in Jacksonville, a Ferrari, a four-year degree, they all cost around $200,000. And while the state won't help you buy the first two, it will help you buy the third. Thank you for joining us here at 11. I'm Anthony Austin.
And I'm Heather Crawford. We're glad you're with us. Tonight, we are investigating the cost of college. First Coast News' Hani Rodriguez joins us live in the newsroom. And Hani, the big story tonight is that there could be more relief on the way for some Florida students.
That is exactly right. Thankfully, Governor Rick Scott proposed a $6.6 million as part of his budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year for higher education, which luckily includes increased funding for the Bright Future Scholarship. And that program provides scholarships for students based on high school academic achievement. But even with those scholarships, like this one, the cost of tuition and room and board can rack on thousands of dollars. Take a look.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A police.
A criminal justice degree from UNF costs on average right now $84,000 for a four-year bachelor's degree, including room and board.
A vet.
A veterinary program at UF costs even more, an average of $112,000.
A fire truck man.
A firefighter certification from Florida State Fire College can cost about $10,000.
Keeps me up at night. It's so expensive.
Nicole Ryan, who's a single mom of two young boys, says the thought of paying for college is daunting.
When you have limited funds, you worry about how you're going to put food on the table the next day, or if a hospital bill comes up with the insurance changes. There's so much that goes on.
But a new proposed Florida House bill could alleviate some of the pressure for moms like Nicole. The Restore Our Bright Futures Act would reinstate the Bright Future Scholarship back to 100% tuition. Right now, the scholarship only covers a maximum of 75% and doesn't cover summer semesters. Something Governor Scott also hopes to change by increasing funding for that scholarship.
100% is astronomical to someone like me who worries day to day.
Her oldest son, Shane, says he wants to be a football player, but not just any kind.
I want to be a Gator football player.
A bachelor's degree from UF costs an average of $80,000.
My grandpa was a kicker for Florida State.
A bachelor's degree from FSU costs around $72,000. Now, although expensive, parents say they will do whatever it takes.
It's very overwhelming, but I love my sons more than life, so I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that they have a better life than I did.
So that her kids can have the chance to follow their dreams.
I want to respect guys because I love pets. Because they're cool and they help people.
It's very good to have high goals set for yourself like these little kids that we interviewed. But just to remind parents, this is just estimated cost for colleges. Now those numbers are going to keep going up as the time goes on. So just be prepared to pay some high dollars for that. Heather, Anthony, back to you.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot to take into consideration. Hani, thanks so much. And parents, you may like this. More students could be eligible to take part in a free virtual education at Florida's public schools. Governor Rick Scott today announced that his proposed budget includes nearly $6 million in funding to cover newly eligible students. So my kids just started Florida virtual school today. Right now, the law says that students have to attend a public school the year before participating unless they meet certain exceptions. The governor's proposal would eliminate that requirement for students in 2nd through 5th grades who want to participate in the part-time instruction at Florida Virtual School. Now, if approved by the legislature, it would also impact K through 12th graders who want to participate in their district's virtual instruction programs.
A developing story that we're continuing to follow tonight. You know, parents, when you put your child on the school bus to send them to school and to come back home, you hope they're going to be okay. Well, 18 children are okay tonight after a scary situation that happened on their school bus. Police say someone shot at the bus on the west side of Jacksonville this evening with what may have been a BB gun. First Coast News reporter Stephen Dial joins us now with the latest. Stephen.
Anthony, this is news that no parent wanted to hear today, hearing that their child's bus was shot by what JSO thinks is a BB gun. Right now, they are still looking for those suspects.
It's a peaceful neighborhood, and when we seen this here, the first thing we thought is not in my neighborhood.
This West Side neighborhood became a crime scene after a school bus was shot at.
Multiple windows broken, but none of the 18 students were injured. Investigators say someone fired a BB gun at the bus.
Whether it's a BB gun or what's an AKR or whatever, it's just something that it just shouldn't be. And we as parents need to care with what our children are doing. For the simple reason, it could be something where these kids are out there playing, someone could get hit by a stray bullet, and that would be very devastating.
This grandfather did not want to show his face.
My grandkid, he's only 2 years old, and God forbid something would happen to him, so not only him, but these other children. So we just need to eradicate some of the stuff that's going on here in Jacksonville.
Despite it only being a BB gun, he says it could have been worse. He has this message for parents.
Take a look at what your children are doing, see who they're with, and if you think that they're doing something bad, then they probably are.
Again, investigators think it was a BB gun. Luckily, all of the students were not injured. That number on your screen is the Crime Stoppers number. Remember, you can remain anonymous. So if you have any information, make sure you give Crime Stoppers a call. Reporting from downtown, Stephen Dial, First Coast News.
So glad no one was hurt, Stephen. Thank you. And this is actually the third school bus shooting in Jacksonville in recent years. The last one happened just a month ago. Police say a 17-year-old boy shot a BB gun into a bus near Wolfson High School because he was bored. One student then was hurt. The teen responsible now facing felony charges.
President Donald Trump has announced his choice to fill the 9th seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. Neil Gorsuch is very conservative on issues like abortion and same-sex marriage. President Trump calls him the best judge in the country. Tracy Potts has more from the White House.
So was that a surprise? Was it?
Tonight, after days of anticipation, President Trump announced his choice to fill Justice Antonin Scalia's seat on the U.S. Supreme Court, 10th Circuit Appeals Court Judge Neil Gorsuch.
Judge Gorsuch has outstanding legal skills, a brilliant mind, tremendous discipline, and has earned bipartisan support.
Judge Gorsuch, a Bush appointee to the appeals court in 2006. He clerked for Supreme Court Justices Byron White and Anthony Kennedy and bears an elite legal resume, Harvard Law and Columbia University.
I pledge that if I am confirmed, I will do all my powers permit to be a faithful servant of the Constitution and laws of this great country.
Also dominating headlines tonight, Washington is reacting to the firing of acting Attorney General Sally Yates. Yates refused to defend Mr. Trump's temporary travel ban and questioned whether restricting travel from majority Muslim countries is legal.
For the Attorney General to turn around and say, I'm not going to uphold this lawful executive order is clearly a dereliction of duty, and she should have been removed, and she was.
Yates firing United Democrats today against Attorney General nominee Jeff Sessions.
He needs to be able to say no to the president.
I have no confidence that Senator Sessions will do that.
We know that he will uphold and enforce all laws equally.
Democrats delayed action on Sessions today. Republicans will try again tomorrow. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Well, this afternoon, your phone may have sounded when an Amber Alert was issued in Florida. Some good news to report tonight. That 2-year-old boy, Bane Wheeler, was found safe in Orlando with his father, who police believe abducted him. The boy was snatched from his mom's arms as she walked into his preschool this morning in Port Richey. Deputies say the boy's father, Daniel Wheeler, who was on felony probation, grabbed him and took off. So far, he has not been charged in connection to this case.
You'll notice some security changes if you take your family to Art Walk tomorrow in downtown Jacksonville, or if maybe you go with some friends out there. JSO tells us that they plan to have more officers on the streets. The sheriff says specific groups of people who have caused problems in the past will not be allowed to attend. This is the first Art Walk since 2 teens were shot near the popular event.
Well, tensions are running high in downtown Jacksonville today. People protesting President Trump's refugee ban came face to face with Trump supporters, and there was a bit of chaos. Look at this. More than 100 people gathered outside of City Hall to protest. The Jacksonville Progressive Coalition organized the protest. They say they want to stand together as one, and that love is what makes America great.
It's just the right thing to do. You see all the pictures of the little kids. You know, they're fleeing war. America has problems and we need to solve them. But what good does that do if we give up, our moral integrity? Even turning just one kid away that's fleeing war? What's the point of that? I just don't see it.
President Trump's executive order bans citizens from Syria, Sudan, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, and Iraq from entering America for 90 days, and it suspends all refugees from entering the country for the next 120 days. All right, shoppers, listen up. You'll like this. Better prices and more convenience coming to Jacksonville. Trader Joe's is opening its second location in Mandarin. It's going to be in the old World Market location in the Clare Lane Shopping Center on San Jose Boulevard. The store is scheduled to open in the second half of this year. We're told this location will be larger than the Trader Joe's in Jacks Beach.
And Walmart is upping the ante in the retail shipping wars. So let's say you spend $35 on their website. Well, you can now get free 2-day shipping. Up until now, free 2-day shipping was only offered to customers who paid to participate in a subscription service.
Everyone wants their 15 minutes of fame, and with everything going viral these days.
A dangerous trend has resurfaced online. The disturbing reason why teenagers are burning themselves on purpose.
Parents, you will not want to miss that. Plus, what is growing inside of a local family's home and why one mother refuses to expose her son to it.
Well, the jet stream, or at least analyzing it, will help us figure out whether, or at least the outlook for the next 7 days. Analyzing the shadows of hogs, we'll do that as well in just a bit.
Hey guys, Dakota Johnson is here for Mad Lib Theater. Plus we have Colin Hanks, music from UB40. It's a great show. Do not change the channel, it's good.
Right now the clock is ticking. If you want to sign up for the Affordable Care Act, you have just until midnight. The future of the ACA is unclear though because of President Trump's plans to repeal and replace it. But until that happens, you have about 45 minutes left to sign up.
Well, tonight we have a warning about a dangerous trend that a lot of teenagers are participating in online.
You put them in a weird way.
Okay, so you see that's what they're doing. The game is played by putting salt on your skin, pressing ice on top of it until it burns. Doing so can leave behind very painful permanent scars. Despite that, dozens of teenagers continue to post videos of themselves doing it online.
The next thing you try, you're not going to be so lucky. You can't just do these things because you see it on the internet.
Not smart to do that at all. Doctors say that you should talk with your kids regularly about what they're doing online. Just don't wait until there's an event or a crisis so that it doesn't feel awkward when tough topics do come up.
All right, listen to this. A Jacksonville mom is afraid to bring her 7-year-old son home. He was diagnosed with leukemia, but here's the problem. 3 years ago, the roof was replaced on their home, but now there's a mold problem. So the question tonight, who is responsible, the roofer or the homeowner? Ken Amaro is on your side and has more on this story.
Behind the beauty of these flowers lies an ugly problem.
Right up in there.
Leslie Ellison says she will not expose her sick child to their home as long as mold is present.
The mold that has come up since the roof has been put on.
This is an example of what you're talking about?
This is it. And the seam line where that came off of, all the moisture that was coming down back in August, which shouldn't be any moisture because they fixed it.
In 2014, roof masters re-roofed their triple-wide mobile home. The city inspected the work May 30th, 2014, and passed it.
They've come out like multiple times, but it's been really hairy.
7-year-old Kadesh wants to come home from the hospital, but Ellison says he can't.
The problem exists.
Yes.
You're confident
it's not
it
resolved.
Her husband removed the carpet flooring and tried to clean up as much of the mold as possible. She says now she wants the roofer to do the rest.
But they had said if there was any issues at all whatsoever, with any leakage or whatever, they would come out and rip it off, re-roof it, and it would be at their expense.
The contract, however, does not say that. It reads that there is a 2-year labor warranty on the work that was done. And that's it.
I'm very upset because I want to bring Kadesh home.
But not with water stains on the ceiling in the bathroom or mold on the wall in the living room. Together, they're all signs of a problem.
I want to know between the ceiling and the roof, like what's there.
Until she is sure it is safe, she says her child will not return to his home.
I don't feel safe, no. I'm not doing that.
Okay, so Ken has been looking into this issue, and AAA Roof Masters has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. And we spoke with the company's Missouri office. They say even though the roof is beyond its 2-year warranty, they will schedule someone to inspect it and then decide if the problem is related to their work. So the family is convinced it is.
Glad Canamero is on their side. Well, heads up for drivers tomorrow. There's a traffic shift that started tonight on I-95 that may impact you if you head downtown early in the morning. It's all part of construction for the Overland Bridge project, so you'll need to move into the right lanes about a half mile before Montana Avenue. The shift started tonight, as I mentioned. It's scheduled to end at 6 a.m.
It's something that many families have been waiting for, maybe you. Parts of Huguenot Park are now open months after Hurricane Matthew shut it down. That closure happened because of damage at the park, and some restrictions are still in place due to continuing repairs. And there is a $5 entry fee per car, but only cash can be accepted while workers overhaul computer and electrical systems. And our very own meteorologist Tim Deegan was out there earlier today.
Working hard.
Tough assignment being out there, enjoying this beautiful weather.
It was so nice out there. And I did get a decent view of the park. Many call it the North Jetties because Huguenot is on the north side of the jetties of the ship channel. Hannah's on the south side. The main thing that was damaged was just as we showed you the road right along the ship channel. The actual natural part of the park, very good shape. Open from 8 to 4, and as more of the park is open, then it will be open later in the evening, especially as we head toward summer. In fact, you know, folks, if you add up the saltwater acreage fronting the ocean, including the estuary of Hannah on the south jetties and then Huguenot on the north jetties, there's not an NFL city in our country that has more saltwater oceanfront and estuary than right here in Duval. And you know, high pressure will be impacting not just Duval, but for the rest of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia for days and days to come. Now, tomorrow morning, because there's been just a subtle shift southward, a little bit of a flow off of the Gulf that allows the moisture to come in. That's why we're going to have smog. That is the combination of some smoke and some fog, and so smog, a hint of it for a lot of us, but for those of you west of Duval, I think visibilities could be significantly reduced between about 6 and 9 in the morning. But also due to the moderating effect, although it's going to be chilly during the morning, temperatures will be about 10 degrees milder. Notice the north side where there was some frost this morning, 47 tomorrow morning, then an afternoon high of 75. Smokiest on the west side as far as Duval is concerned. Now, as far as all of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia, again tomorrow morning, because the high has settled south of us, you folks north of us will not be any cooler. In fact, if anything, it may be a little milder during the morning up around Brunswick and Waycross as opposed to Ocala and Palatka. Notice out toward the Swanee River Valley, that's where the smoggiest weather will be. Palatka, you'll be possibly a little bit cooler than up north in Duval. For those of you going to reach the beach, and I'm talking about from the planks around St. Simons down to Matanzas and everywhere in between, even on the beach going up to 74 degrees because, of course, a land breeze. And again, Huguenot Park, as we mentioned, is open. And that surf, by the way, that's 6 inches. So a good day for rafting out there. And, of course, we'll keep a close watch on the hedgehog, the groundhog. I like to watch the pelicans. It's kind of counterintuitive. There are many out there who think, well, if it sees its shadow, that means spring's on the way. But remember, it's the other way around. If it sees its shadow, we have 6 more weeks of winter. If it doesn't, we have 42 days. I'll be some.
Thank you, Tim. Will Tony Baselli be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Find out what the man who drafted him is saying about that possibility. Plus, National Signing Day is tomorrow. Moms and dads, listen up. I'll run down the big plans, and I'll also tell you how you can get involved. Folks, we're pumping up the volume. Next in sports. Tomorrow's National Signing Day, and we'll be spread across our first coast covering Signing Day ceremony. Then tomorrow night at 7 on ABC 25, join us for our hour-long live National Signing Day celebration at University Christian.
From the Farrah and Farrah Sports Desk, it's First Coast Sports.
Hello, everybody. The day before Super Bowl 51, Jaguars great Tony Baselli will find out if he'll be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The team's first ever draft pick joins 14 other former NFL stars in the quest to make it to the enshrinement ceremony. Baselli played for the Jags from 95 to 2001. He retired as a member of the Houston Texans in 2002, but never played a snap for the franchise. Today, Jags Vice President of Football Operations Tom Coughlin talked about whether or not he thought Baselli would be inducted.
The way he, could dominate people really at times, no matter what you say, which run you pick, all the all-pros, the all-pro teams, all the things, the much deserved honors that he's received, no doubt in my mind.
National Signing Day is tomorrow, and the pressure is on Florida's Jim McElwain. McElwain has struggled to bring a top 10 recruiting class in, although he finished strong in 2016. However, this afternoon, the Gators made a big splash, landing 4-star defensive tackle Elijah Cunliffe. Although Elijah played defensive end in high school, he's a big boy at 6'4", 300 pounds. So here's what we need from you on National Signing Day. We want you to post your photos and well wishes for those recruits from your school who are signing a national letter of intent. Then post the photos as well as the well wishes on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag Team Sideline. Then tomorrow night at 7 on ABC 25, we'll be on the campus of University Christian for our annual National Signing Day celebration special. We'll have complete coverage of all of the signing day ceremonies from across the First Coast. Plus, we'll be live at 2 of the best recruits home for their signing day parties. It's going to be good, so join us tomorrow night at 7 on ABC 25. Tonight, Britt Musburger. Final game on the play-by-play microphone. The man whose voice can be recognized anywhere in the country was in Lexington, Kentucky as Georgia battled the Wildcats. Here's Musburger calling the highlights.
Off the dribble. And one. Oh, mercy, Jay. Come off. The crowd loved that. Hawkins, here he comes again. Bingo!
By the way, this game is in overtime, all knotted up at 76. How about some hoops on the high school basketball? Hardwood, Reebok traveled over to Jackson late first half. Trojans leading this one by 6 at the half. That's Miles Wilson. He gets that shot to go after. Going up but 20, the Tigers would get with an 8. Randolph Miles, but the Trojans would go on to win by 11, 73-62. Today, NASCAR driver Clint Boyer toured NAS Jacks with Daytona Speedway president Chip Wild. There we go. He toured the facility with military members and talked with them about the upcoming Daytona 500. He'll replace Tony Stewart in the number 14 car. Boyer also talked about his team's goal for the upcoming Great American Race.
We've had a lot of stages talk and all these new format changes and stuff that we have in our sport. Throw it out the wayside. I'm here to win this Daytona 500. I can't wait. A new opportunity.